If you're parenting an anxious kid or a kid with OCD, you're going to need all the tools that you can to help them get better. I have one funky tool that I want to share with you. Stay tuned, that's what's up next. In lots of my other videos, I talk about many ways to help your kids with anxiety and with OCD. A lot of practical ways, like naming their anxiety or OCD, and how to empower them at home and not enable them, and how to set up challenges. And you can see all of those videos about those really concrete tips in my playlist. I have a child anxiety playlist on YouTube, and I have an OCD playlist on YouTube. And that's where all those videos are. But I have kind of a wacky tip today, and so that's why I'm telling you to go look at those other videos, because those are like the meat and potatoes of how to help your kids. But this one is like the icing on top of that big cake. So for a long time, I've been doing this weird thing with my kids, and I honestly don't know where it started or why I started to do it, but it turned out to be pretty effective. So whenever my daughter was afraid to go to bed, she'd come up over the balcony, because we have a balcony, and she'd say, "Mom, I'm scared." And I would say to her, "Brave face." And she would do this brave face pose. So normally in her little 4-year-old at the time world, she'd put her hands on her hips and she'd do kind of like duck lips, and she'd be like this. And she was ready to fight her fears. And so whenever she became scared, whether she was afraid to go to a certain class, or she was scared at night, or she had kind of just an overall anxiety, I would say to her, "Brave face," kind of in this like weird tone, and she would get the pose. And then my son, who's older than her, said, "Why don't you ever say brave face to me?" Because he's got anxiety and OCD as well. And so I thought that maybe that was a little bit too babyish for him. So I started to say that to him as well. "Brave face." And he would kind of do his version of the duck face. Well, lo and behold, actually, there's been a whole movement on the power pose. And if you haven't heard of Amy Cuddy and her TED Talk, there was a lot of to-do about power poses and how they actually can physiologically change you, and fake it till you make it. And if you act brave, then you actually will become brave. Now, in doing some research for this video, because I always try to do my background research before I kind of put anything out there online, I did notice that her research has been questioned. And there has been some controversy about whether her research was valid or not, whether it truly physiologically altered your chemical state to do a power pose. You know what? I could care less, because even if there is no research to back up that maybe physiologically it's altering your chemicals, I know that emotionally it's been very empowering for my kids. Now, I didn't do it because I saw her TED Talk. In fact, I'm a little clueless because I didn't really know about that for about a year. And I didn't even look at her TED Talk until yesterday when I was planning on making this video and I was going to reference her. And then I was like, ooh, there's some controversy around this. But it doesn't matter, because any kind of funny, quirky kind of tool that you can use to lighten the mood with your kids and empower them, the better. And I know with my kids, especially with my daughter, when I say to her brave face and she gets this big, powerful pose on, she feels more powerful. And she's a little bit more open to hearing the next thing that I'm going to say, which is, "What's your green thought?" And that's another video that, if you haven't seen it, I will link it below. And then she'll tell me her green thought, and then she'll go back to bed. Now, granted, she does this like over and over again, but it is really empowering. So if you have a child with OCD and they're going to do exposures, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look at my video on exposure response prevention, the most effective approach for kids with OCD. Before they do an exposure, you can say, "Brave face," or whatever you're going to call it, because that's kind of my thing, and it might empower them. Now, some kids might not like that, and so you might say, "Brave face," and they might be like, "Shut up," or "I don't want to do brave face, that's stupid." Okay, well then that's not for you, and it's not for your kid. It's okay. You just want things to try, and you want things to lighten the mood. Because I find that when my kids are in a panic, sometimes, not always, but sometimes, if I can interweave some comedic response or some empowering, funny response, they tend to soften. Now, not always, and your kid might not be like that at all, but it's worth trying. I know when my daughter was really little, like 3, and she had a major anxiety around pooping, which if you're dealing with that, by the way, this is for all ages, so you might be like, I have a 17-year-old, Natasha, I'm not dealing with pooping, but kids of all ages, parents of all ages watch these videos. So I do have a whole podcast on the fear of pooping, and I'll link it below as well. I'll just link a bunch of stuff. But when she was really little and she was afraid to go to the bathroom, super afraid to poop, I would have her actually get on a cape and she would dress up and then she would say brave face. And she would do that by herself. I'd be like, what is she doing? And she'd be going through the dress up bin and she'd come out with a cape and a mask and she's like, I'm ready to poop. She's a total character. I love her. She is so bizarre. But like mother, like daughter, actually. But if your kids are a little bit younger, that's also a really good empowerment approach while they do their power pose, is have some costumes available. In my kids' dress-up bin, I have tons of capes of all colors and sizes. And I have a lot of masks. In fact, I found this thing at Walmart where you could just buy like a whole pack of capes and masks, really cheap, which was kind of cool. And I'm sure you can find it on Amazon as well. And they just have that available to them. Now they're getting older, so my daughter is now turning 6 and my son is 8. My daughter's 14, so there's no way she's putting on a cape. And I don't really say brave face to her because she would probably say, shut up. No, she wouldn't. She's a nice kid. But she'd be like, what? I'm not doing that. So it depends on your child. But my 8-year-old's not dressing up in capes anymore. But once in a while, my funky 6-year-old, she'll still get on her cape and be ready to face the day with her cape. So I know that's not going to fix all your problems. Trust me, with 3 anxious kids and a kid with OCD, I get this. I know that this is like not the panacea to anxiety and OCD, but every little bit can help. And so put this in your toolbox and I'll give you more next week. Take care. Have a great day. Oh, by the way, if you're liking my videos, don't forget to hit the like button. That feedback is awesome. And hit subscribe because these videos come out every Thursday. You're gonna forget, you're not gonna remember that, hey, Natasha makes another video. If you subscribe, it'll at least be in there. I hope you find the sparkle in every day. Take care, bye-bye. Having a child with OCD is not only difficult and devastating for the child, but it takes its toll on the entire family. Watching your child do behaviors that don't make sense to anybody, and not even to your child, can be completely heartbreaking. And most parents don't know what to do or what their role is in how to help. OCD is a really complicated issue, and even a lot of therapists don't understand how to treat OCD. And so as a parent, you might be lost as to where to find support or what you're supposed to do in order to help your child crush their OCD. To make matters worse, many kids hide their OCD from their parents, so their parents don't even realize the extent of the issue.
I know my behavior doesn't make any sense. It's embarrassing. I don't want my parents to know. My parents don't even know half of the rituals I have to do.
Being in the dark is the worst thing for your child's OCD. No parent has to sit idly by, clueless about how OCD works and how they can actually help their child, because OCD is very treatable, and most of the approaches can be done very easily in your own home. I created the online class, Parenting a Child with OCD, to help you understand your child and understand OCD, but more importantly, to give you the tools to actually help your child beat OCD at home. You can take the online class at your own pace. Every lesson is there for you the minute you enroll, and you can go through it as fast or as slowly as you want to. You can also view the lessons on any device, so you can watch it on a tablet, on the computer, or even on the go on your phone. And every lesson is short and simplistic, so that you don't miss any concept or idea. Not only do you learn exactly how to implement cognitive behavioral therapy and exposure response prevention techniques at home, but you are given 23 handouts and worksheets that you can do with your child to implement the things that I teach you in this class. The class comes with 39 lessons that cover every aspect of OCD, from the origins of OCD to what themes to look for within your child, how to talk to your child about their OCD, how to talk to their siblings about OCD, and most importantly, exactly how to carry out exercises and challenges that will crush your child's OCD at home. OCD only gets worse as time goes by. Don't waste any more time. You can do things to help your child right away. Take the class, learn the lessons, and implement strategies and challenges at home and start seeing some improvement right away. You know your child the best. You see them struggling. You don't have to feel hopeless anymore. There are skills you can teach them. Let me show you how. You can enroll today at anxioustoddlers.teachable.com.